Hello.
I have to leave here at like 5:30 today.
Oh yeah, we'll be done by then. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, how's everybody doing tonight? Happy week after spring break. We're in week 9. Thursday, if you didn't read the announcement already, this is Thursday is your research paper beginning night, which I know everybody's already finished your research paper, so it's pretty much just, not doing much. So, but no, I'll give you that night to work on your research paper outline. Tonight, we're going to talk about how to create an outline, how I've created one over the years, how I've learned to do it, trial and error, basic tips and tricks type stuff. I'll help you. And so the goal Thursday is basically just to create an outline of your paper. That would be awesome if you do that, and that's really bad. Let's try to change that. Let me know if this is better once I get on. Is that better? Worse? Better? You see the words better? Okay. Oh yeah, much better. All right, cool. All right, let's make sure this thing's still recording. Good. All right. All right, so research night. So Thursday you will come in and, or not come in, stay home. If you have class, some here Thursday, you can work here if you want to, but you don't have to. You can work from home if you want to. You work on your outline and get that completed. There is a Prezi here. You click on this, it should launch a YouTube of a Prezi, which is right here. Watch that. And there's a PowerPoint. I'm trying to remember if that's a Prezi. Yeah, here's a Prezi. I'll go over this one. Yeah, I'll go over this one. The video goes in a little bit more detail, but we'll go over this. But Thursday, you'll watch what we're getting ready to watch again tonight. You will look at a research topics document from week 2. Most of you chose your own, but just a reminder of how the papers to be laid out and stuff like that. That's what this document will go over, how the presentations to be created. And just a reminder on the presentation options, you can do the normal PowerPoint, Keynote, or you can video your presentation or Skype your presentation from remote location, just as something different that you'll be using a lot in IT anyway. And then tell me what you accomplished Thursday. So you got your outline done or half your outline done, whatever. That's perfect. So we'll go over this Prezi real quick, and I'll draw some stuff on the board on helping you get an outline created. So first step when you create a paper is to create an outline. We've all were told, including myself, from grade school, high school, college, teachers always told you to turn in what first when you had a paper due? Outline. They mark it up, put the red marker. With me, it's pretty much all red. I could barely see my paper, but maybe I was the only one. I had a lot of run-on things, so I had to fix that. Once I got it down, it took 2 or 3 tries, but I fought it the whole time. I don't know if anybody of you are like that. Fought the outline thing the whole time, like it's a waste of time to do an outline. But after my bachelor's and going to my master's degree, I finally started realizing there's a reason for the madness. And the reason is the outline helps you stay on track with your paper. Now, before I really bought the outline story, hook, line, and sinker, I found some interesting information during my research, but about 80% of it had zero to do with my research paper. So again, outline's going to help. And so I'll show you the way I do it. Do this little Prezi. It's basically like a blueprint to help you build a house. An outline is. That's why I've come to understand it and use it. It's not perfect, but it's something that helps you. So 4 to 6 points roughly is what you want to cover on a paper, 5 to 7 page paper. An example would be like wireless security, introduction to Wi-Fi, why I chose the topic, history of Wi-Fi, types of Wi-Fi, security, the most secure Wi-Fi, security, and the future of Wi-Fi. And the reason you want to choose 4 to 6 is that's about all you can cover as well in a 10-minute presentation, about 4 to 6 points. But that'll be more than enough content to research for 4 to 6 points. So then after you create the 4 to 6 points, then you collect data. But you want to force yourself not to collect data like I did over the years until you get your outline done. So again, I'll use the Wi-Fi one as an example. So intro to Wi-Fi, maybe we'll do something different than that one. Do like a biographical, beginning, present, future, key people. Oh, might have 7 in there. Key businesses, and then conclusion. So I have my 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items in my outline that I'm going to cover in my paper. And so I can begin now with this outline, which is about Wi-Fi. I can begin researching and collecting data. And on the data research, what I've learned over the years is take one by one each point and begin collecting data. And that's all you're doing is collecting data. You're just dumping it in a Word document or something from different sources. And when you dump the data in your Word document or whatever document you choose to store it in, at the end of each or at every page, it's like say it's what I used to do is basically every source became its own document. So I would do like intro _1 would be my first research, whatever. Intro _2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. And each one of those intro underscores will become a separate source for, in no certain order, for that point, if that makes sense. So at the end of this, I might have 50 documents, all of them on each point, separate each point. So we'll to roughly put it in maybe 10 per point. So 60 pages. You say that's a lot of information, and it is, but you can collect 60 pages of information off the web pretty quickly, right? Maybe within like an hour, you can get 60 pages of data. because that's all you're doing. You're not typing any information in. You're copy and pasting. Here's my source, copy and paste. Here's the source. And when it comes to sources, for most of you, it's going to be URLs. It's going to be the source. But I know you're already reading this paragraph up here, and in bold, or next, the word "not" is in caps on purpose, because you will try to do what I did over the years, which, you know what, while I'm collecting data, I might as well go ahead and format. No, don't do that. It'll be a waste of time. You'll forget. You'll get so bogged down on each point, it'll take you 6 weeks to go to point 2, because you're formatting as you're going. So don't format as you go, right? Force yourself not to format. For some of you, it'll be harder than others to do that. So while you're collecting data on each point, and I just gave you how I did it over the years on collecting data, you can do it however you want to do it. I know students that have stored a note on their phone, one point per note page, however you want to do it. I suggest copying and pasting your articles from the web into a Word document or a Notepad document or a TextPad document, along with the source information. Questions on that? Again, these are just points I've learned over the years doing papers myself. Then you finally get to edit, organize, and format. Okay? You're going to take 60 pages of data and crunch it down to 5 to 7 pages. So you have more than enough data, right, for your paper. You won't have to be hunting for information, right? In fact, you'll have to really filter all your information, which is nice. The hard part might be for some of you is determining the cream of the crop of each one of your points, possibly. But you might be kind of, what I used to do, I started, if I got 10 per point, what I might do is pick out one of the 10 that I really like, and I would, name it something like, like, or something like that at the end of it. That way I know I like this one source out of all of them I've chosen. And it doesn't mean I won't use the other 9 per point, but it's just a kind of a point of reference. So create a new document, begin bringing in your research for each of your points, collecting the data, organizing, formatting, and unlike this page here is not formatted. And then pass that on to somebody else that knows more about you than proofreading. Okay? Even if you're great at grammar and great at writing papers, it's always a good idea to get somebody else to look at your paper. One of my buddies I used to work with for years was a football player at Oklahoma State, and he was about 6'4", 380 pounds, and he was a chef along with myself. And at night we were managers of about 10 or 12 other cooks, and we had to work. Anybody work in restaurants in here before? Or okay, so at the end of the night it's cleanup, but paperwork. Everybody wants to get out of there, so it's chaos. But it's about 12:30 at night, and I was ready. All the stuff was done. The guys were home. I was getting jacked. He would do the final paperwork at night. And I worked with him for years, but never realized. I knew he had to type some stuff in the office, but I never realized how good he was at typing until I walked by the office one night about 12:30, and I go, "Hey, Jack, going home," and I just heard, I'm like, "World? You have somebody else in there typing for you or something?" I was like, looking there, Jackson, and I'm like, "So what's up? How many words per minute you type?" "About 80. I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, that's how I made money in college." I type people's papers, $25 a page. So that's pretty good money, right? And that was back in the late 70s, early 80s. So anyway, he learned to type well, and he didn't have to work because he just typed everybody's papers. And so I'll share that story. It's kind of a funny story. Imagine big burly guy in there typing away, and but yeah, he liked doing all the paperwork and everything. I was wondering, I'm like, well, I wonder why you always like doing it. I'm like, well, you're better than I am. So back then I was like, that's my typing skills back then. Gotten a little bit better, but not too much. So makes sense I'm giving it to somebody else? And it will help your paper, by the way. And guess what? They will generally have ideas, or they might say, okay, your first 3 points are spot on. I understand it. But when you get to point 4 through 6, I don't know what you're talking about. You're like everywhere. I don't know what you're saying. And so it might help you. It will help you to help clarify your research paper. All right. Then convert it to the presentation, step 4. And on the presentation, it can be, again, PowerPoint, Keynote, Prezi, video. If you're going to bring video into your presentation, so you only have 10 minutes, I'd recommend keeping your video under a minute on whatever point it is you're bringing up. And then presenting prep. Again, this is the thing I did not do early on, but I have over the years, is practice watching yourself give your presentation and time yourself. Everybody has a phone and everybody has a timer on your phone, and you can just time yourself. Talk normally as you go through the presentation, and you'll be surprised. And don't look at your time, by the way, until you're done. Don't even look at your phone until you're done. You'll be surprised when you look at your phone and you're like, 25 minutes? What? No, that's not going to work. And so you have to go in and trim some stuff out or speed up, right? What you're talking about, one of the two. And while we're talking about presentations, if you skip a point on a slide and you're 2 slides past that, you don't need to go back. Just keep going. Okay, nobody's even going to notice it probably, more than likely. And so that's just a little word of wisdom for you. You can also use cue cards. Some students like to do that. Doesn't matter what dimension. I put 3x5, 5x7, but you can put poster board. I don't care. Whatever you want to do. I can, cue cards in the back. I don't care what you want. Whatever you want to do. That'd actually be pretty fun. I'd like to see that. You'll present on week 14 and 15. Research is going to be due. Research paper due the night of the presentation. All right. And again, I haven't had anybody come to me yet, but if you want to do your presentation remotely and remote in, you can definitely do that. It is an option. Okay. And I encourage you to do that if you've never done it before. It'll be a learning thing for you as well, and on top of doing your research paper. Because in IT, at least 2 to 3 times a month, if not more, whether it be a training, whether it be a meeting, an interview, you're always using Skype or FaceTime or something like that all the time. Make sense? And so you will also, again, the night of, you don't need to have a cover page on your research paper. That's in the document that we put in week 2, because you're going to be uploading it into that week, 14 or 15. The presentation itself, those are when you're presenting, and I'll be putting that together here in a bit, who's presenting what night. You'll come in, if you're presenting that night, come in about 10 minutes early so I can grab your presentation, put it on my computer, and test it to make sure it works. And each person, as they present, the screen will be recorded and your voice will be recorded, and it'll just be stored in Eagle for other students to see, okay, thereafter. All your presentations as well, I'll upload into week 14 and 15. So you'll be able to see each other's presentations and the data you collected, which, 20 years of doing this class, I learn every semester something new about all the topics you guys choose from. And you can even have a topic, and some of you do have the same topic as another person. It's going to be a different presentation, okay? You're going to focus on a different item or items than that other person, all right? So don't worry about that. I always have students go, well, I'm doing mine on, or Joe over here is doing his on Wi-Fi, so I'm doing on mine. What do I do now? Wait, well, keep doing research on your, whatever it was you're doing your research on. While you're doing your outline too, like this is a very broad topic I put up here, Wi-Fi, okay? Narrow down the scope of your research topic. So if you chose Wi-Fi, it might be something like the most secure way to set up a Wi-Fi connection. And here's the steps of how to do it. Something like that. Easy, right? Because you can literally have hours and weeks and months on educating on Wi-Fi, right? Easy. You only have 10 minutes. So whatever you are passionate about that topic, hone down on that. Believe me, even with that little bit of information I just gave you on the most secure way to set up a Wi-Fi, and here's the steps how to do it, you can get a lot of data from that information. A lot of videos, pictures, graphs, and handout. Now let's talk about this handouts for a second. If I always tell students this, I've always judged this myself. I never give a handout to students if it's for a lesson outside of class, unless it's something that would be helpful outside that session, meaning they could use it again, right? If you would take that paper, or if I would take that paper, if I'm doing a presentation, and throw it in the trash before I leave, it's probably not worth printing. Does that make sense? Now, can you get a resource on your presentation of that link? Definitely. But to save paper, and just, most of us are like that, by the way, not just me, I know. You look at something somebody gives you, go, oh, that's nice. Okay, thanks. And then trash. Right? Am I right? Right? We go, oh, that's a good resource. Wow. Oh, really? Oh, that's nice. And then as soon as they leave, trash, And so don't print it if you don't need it. And the reason I gave the example of the 3 easy steps to create a secure Wi-Fi, a student about 2 semesters ago had a really nice 1-page visual on, it was a Linksys router, which is the most popular router for Wi-Fi routers at that time. It was a 3-step visual of how to set up a Wi-Fi router, basically, with the images and steps and all that good stuff. And I did have students later said they did use it. They were able to use that, so that's kind of cool. So stuff like that is okay to print out, and I can print that out for you. So that's the presentation that you'll be going over. The video, the podcast is, a little bit more detail on the slide before. This here, by the way, is the Prezi I just showed you. This PowerPoint example is just that. It is a PowerPoint example. Bless you. A PowerPoint example of a presentation. Let me go ahead and launch that again. Yeah, I don't want that, and I don't want that. Click continue here, hang on. There we go. It's opening eventually here. I'll show you that. And again, it's just a template. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. But to get you started, if it's been a while since you created a PowerPoint presentation, this just shows you an example, right? You got a title, you got your name, you have some images, 3 to 4 bullet points per slide, no more than that. And then the conclusion slide, okay? The conclusion slide can also have and should have something like thank you for your time, any questions, something like that. But you can use this if you want to, and then just tweak it to your presentation if you want to, whatever you want to do. Or another resource I'll mention is that I recommend is Prezi, the one I have up here on the overhead. Prezi's totally free to use as a student or otherwise, and you can create a presentation that looks really nice and is they have a nice tutorial of how to use it, and it's interactive. And you can even, what's nice about the Prezi is you can find one that you like, how it looks and feels, right? And then you can just put your data in there, basically, once you find one. Most of these Prezis that they call reuse them, is once you get one that you like, you just basically copy it, you hit copy button, and it copies it to your profile, and then you can edit it to your heart's desire. You can put in there images and videos. And what's cool about it, if you guys are familiar with like Google Earth, it's kind of like that. You do a fly in, it flies into all of your points and makes it look a lot less boring than PowerPoint. And so anyway, when I do presentations for the board here on campus or for any grant writing, anything, I always create a Prezi to do that, because it does look more wow factor, I guess, than a PowerPoint. I guess that's the easiest way to put it. But all the companies use it, media companies and otherwise. Anyway, Prezi, I recommend if you've never tried it. You might try and go, nope. Or you might try and go, oh yeah, this one looks pretty cool. All right. And again, just be something less boring. And really, if you think about it, it's kind of less work a Prezi is, especially if you find a template like this that you like. You can just copy it and then just input your data on top of the data that's there, which is really nice. Yeah. Questions on Prezi? Okay. Anybody used Prezi before, by the way, for presentations? Okay. Recommend looking at least. On Thursday, look at it for a little bit. Notice it says pricing over here. They do have pricing tier, but they also have for education. Students, if you want to get a full version, $7 a month or something like that. But they do have a free version of that as well. Basic or something like that. I can't remember. Yeah, basic. Create, share, and store beautiful presentations online. Anyone can view. Totally free. That's the one you want to choose. All right. So that is Thursday. So when you go to extra credits or review questions for 9. And that is it. Questions on Thursday? No, we're done. Yeah. So get your outline knocked out Thursday. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. I'll be more glad to help you. Otherwise, oh, and also too, if you're thinking about doing a remote presentation, let me know before you leave tonight, and we can set up a time to go back and forth to set it up at your house or whatever to test it. And if you have any other questions, come up and see me. We're more glad to help you. Yeah. Cool. All right. See you next week.